Empty houses line a street in the Lancashire town of Accrington. There are an estimated 850,000 empty homes in the United Kingdom, even though local councils still have long waiting lists for housing. The terraced houses were due to be rejuvenated by Accrington Council, but the project was put on hold when the government cut a housing regeneration project. In terms of sheer number, Accrington and the wider Lancashire area have the highest amount of empty homes in England. Snow settles on the derelict West Pier in Hove. The pier served as a major attraction for over a century before closing in 1975. While operational, the 1,000-plus foot pier featured a grand concert hall and a fairground, among other attractions. During the pier's best years, the first 2 decades of the 20th century, those attractions drew in as many as 2 million visitors per year. However, since unmanageable costs caused the pier to be abandoned in 1975, it has fallen into further disrepair thanks to storms, high winds, and 2 fires. Derelict vacation homes await demolition at Pontins Holiday Camp in Blackpool. The camp was closed in 2009 due to falling visitor numbers. Above, the decaying interior of one of the camp's derelict holiday chalets awaits demolition. More crumbling chalets at Pontins. Abandoned homes like these in Liverpool sat at the centre of a political battle in 2015, between those who wanted the area to be redeveloped and those who wanted it preserved as a historic district. Derelict homes stand on Arnside Road, in the Kensington area of Liverpool. In 2013, the City Council began selling off a selection of its abandoned housing stock for just £1 each in the failed redevelopment area known as the Granby Triangle. More abandoned homes in the Granby Triangle. Likewise, the City Council of Stoke-on-Trent sold off dozens of derelict homes for £1 each in 2013. A woman performs maintenance work on her home next to derelict houses in the Cobridge area of Stoke-on-Trent. The homes are being sold by the council for £1. Old abandoned houses are now used for military training in the village of Imber, which was evacuated in 1943 by the military for training U.S. soldiers preparing for the D-Day invasion. Imber's villagers were told at the time of evacuation that they would be allowed to return in 6 months. However, despite public appeals, the villagers' hopes were never realized, and to this day the village remains in the control of the Ministry of Defense. An abandoned factory waits to be demolished in Stoke-on-Trent in 2012. Stoke-on-Trent and the surrounding area have borne the brunt of the country's economic downturn, with the loss of close to 1/3 of its manufacturing jobs over the late 2000s, the highest rate of any area in the United Kingdom. More abandoned properties in Horton. Vacant homes waiting for redevelopment spruced up with murals in Liverpool. More vacant homes adorned with murals. Properties that have fallen into neglect due to funding cuts to a local housing association in a former mining village in Horton. A man walks past the former Swan Lane Mill, now partly derelict, in Bolton. Members of Wood Cricket Club play next to derelict terraced houses in Duke Bar, Burnley, Lancashire. This area is the cheapest place in all of England and Wales to buy a home. The abandoned Chatterley Whitfield Colliery, the most comprehensive surviving deep mine site in England. The historic colliery was the first to extract 1 million tons of coal in a year and is one of the many industrial heritage sites on the English Heritage at Risk Register. The register is the largest ever research project into the condition of England's industrial heritage. An abandoned farmhouse sits in Burscough. The sun begins to set over some of the abandoned historic vessels in the boat graveyard between Sharpness and Putton on the banks of the River Severn in Gloucestershire. More than 80 vessels were beached there from the 1900s to the 1960s to stop the banks being eroded by the tides, but the wrecks are slowly being vandalized or stripped by scavengers seeking firewood or unusual house ornaments. An abandoned farmhouse sits in Hawes, a small town located within Yorkshire Dales National Park. A former mill lays derelict waiting for redevelopment in Rochdale. An abandoned shack sits alone in a field in Wiltshire. A derelict china factory sits in Stoke-on-Trent. Disused fishing railway, hut, and boat near the shore in Dungeness. Disused World War II radar dishes sit at a Royal Air Force station in Stenigott.